Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 3 of March 2025. Czech automaker Škoda Autos India unit is aiming to sell over 100,000 vehicles annually by 2026. Targeting younger customers with affordable, feature-rich models designed specifically for Indian market. This ambitious goal comes amid the dominance of Japanese, Korean and local automakers, with Škoda striving to carve out a competitive niche through strategic positioning. The Reserve Bank of India reassured depositors that IndusInd Bank remains well capitalized and financially stable. The bank's capital adequacy ratio stood at 16.46% and its liquidity coverage ratio was 113%, exceeding regulatory requirements. Recent accounting discrepancies are being addressed, with external audits and corrective actions underway. Depositors were urged to ignore speculative reports. State-owned Engineers India and Mecon, alongside 4 private firms, have been shortlisted for RBI's project to modernize its currency management infrastructure. The project aims to create advanced storage, introduce automation, enhance security and improve efficiency to meet future cash needs. RBI seeks to address challenges faced by other central banks and ensure sustainable currency management. Zetwork Manufacturing, a $3.1 billion company in the contract manufacturing space, is planning to come up with an initial public offering within the next 15 to 24 months, a top company executive said on Saturday. The Bengaluru-based company aims to raise at least $500 million, targeting a valuation of around $5 billion. Zetworks Electronics, a part of the $2 billion Zetwork manufacturing business, started its 7th electronics manufacturing facility, its first in Tamil Nadu, in Sri Perumbudur on Saturday. Immaticus Learning, an edtech firm offering professional courses, plans to file its draft red herring prospectus in the next 4 to 5 months as part of its initial public offering plans. Immaticus will join other edtech firms, PhysicsWala, Class Plus, and Simply Learn in making its public market debut. India witnessed a record-breaking surge in deal activity in February, with 226 M&A and private equity deals totaling $7.2 billion, the highest monthly deal volume in the last 3 years. This represents a 67% increase in volumes and a 5.4-fold increase in values compared to February 2024, while a 14% increase over the previous month. India's creator economy is booming, fueled by easier internet access. The government has introduced a $1 billion fund and Rs 391 crore for the Indian Institute of Creative Technology to boost the industry. The Waves 2025 summit will further support content creators. This growth is vital for India's aspirations to be a prominent global content exporter. Religare Enterprises Limited, or REL, has enlisted Trilegal and Grant Thornton Bharat LLP to review potential misconduct by current and former employees. The governance review aims to assess operational practices and recommend improvements. The board seeks immediate financial support from the Berman Group to address a cash flow gap. Poonawalla FinCorp Limited has launched secured loans for commercial vehicles, targeting both new and old models. Initially operating in 68 locations across 12 states, The company plans to expand to 400 locations across 20 states. The loans are aimed at enhancing transportation capabilities for small, light, and heavy vehicle operators with simplified documentation and flexible payment options. Gen Z faces tough economic conditions with high unemployment, low hiring, costly living, and fears of AI taking over entry-level jobs. Their early career challenges echo those experienced post-2008 recession. With minimal prospects for immediate job market improvement, Gen Zers often prioritize present experiences over saving for a seemingly uncertain future. In a significant move to provide clarity on the implementation of tax treaties, the Central Board of Direct Taxes or CBDT has issued Circular 1/2025 emphasizing the application of the Principal Purpose Test or PPT under India's Double Taxation Avoidance Agreements or DTAAs. This clarification does not introduce any new legal interpretation but reaffirms that the circular applies only to the PPT without affecting other provisions of the Income Tax Act. The government remains committed to ensuring consistency in tax law interpretation while upholding the existing legal framework. Embattled crypto platform WazirX partnered with virtual asset provider Zodia Custody as a custodian days ahead of scheduled voting on a scheme for asset distribution. The crypto exchange's partnership with a new custodian comes about 8 months after it blamed its service provider, Liminal Custody, for a cyber attack that led to an alleged security breach resulting in losses of over $230 million. Liminal had stated that its systems were not compromised. The announcement comes at a time when creditors are tentatively scheduled to vote on the asset redistribution scheme between March 19th and 28th. WazirX said its latest service provider offers clear distinctions between assets held for various clients, ensuring no commingling of client assets. Swiggy shares have plunged 43% from their peak amid rising cash burns and fierce competition in the quick commerce segment, along with a slowdown in its core food delivery business. The path to profitability remains unclear, but some analysts see a buying opportunity due to potential long-term growth in both food delivery and quick commerce. The Central Board of Direct Taxes or CBDT has issued Circular number 4/2025 dated March 17, 2025, providing frequently asked questions on the revised guidelines for the compounding of offences under the Income Tax Act 1961. These revised guidelines, effective from October 17, 2024, aim to simplify the compounding process, making it more accessible and efficient for taxpayers. Paytm Money received green light from the Securities and Exchange Board of India or SEBI to offer services as a research analyst. With this registration, Paytm Money will offer SEBI-compliant research services, including investment insights, research reports, and data-driven analysis. Fast-moving consumer goods or FMCG companies are asking for a separate law to govern beauty and personal care or BPC products, saying current regulations under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 impede growth. At present, the making of soaps, skin care, hair care, oral care and cosmetic products, much like drugs, is regulated under a system of inspection and licensing by state licensing authorities. LG Electronics India Limited, a subsidiary of the South Korean Chaebol LG and manpower and toll plaza management services provider Innovision Limited have received SEBI's approval to raise funds through initial public offerings. This will be the second South Korean company to tap the Indian stock market following the listing of Hyundai Motors India Limited in October last year. Since the public issues completely an offer for sale or OFS, LG Electronics India will not receive any IPO proceeds. The funds raised will go to the South Korean parent. Google parent Alphabet has agreed to buy cybersecurity startup Wiz for at least $32 billion. Wiz had called off a $23 billion deal with Alphabet last year to focus on its initial public offering. The startup provides cloud-based cybersecurity solutions powered by artificial intelligence that help companies identify and remove critical risks on cloud platforms. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, or IBBI, has directed insolvency professionals to include a dedicated section in the information memorandum explicitly detailing the carry forward of losses under the Income Tax Act 1961. This includes the quantum of losses, breakdown by specific heads, and applicable time limits. The circular is issued under Section 196 of the IBC 2016. In the wake of the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding or MOU between RBI and the Maldives Monetary Authority in November 2024, the Reserve Bank of India has now allowed bilateral trade transactions between India and the Maldives to be settled in Indian rupees and Maldivian rufiya, in addition to the existing Asian Clearing Union mechanism. These instructions shall come into force with immediate effect. The Mutual Credit Guarantee Scheme for MSMEs, or MCGS MSME, has been launched for providing 60% guarantee coverage by National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company Limited, or NCGTC, to member lending institutions or MLIs for credit facility up to Rs 100 crore sanctioned to eligible MSMEs under MCGS MSME for purchase of equipment or machinery. Billionaire Gautam Adani is in advanced talks to buy the Indian unit of Dubai-based developer MR Group at a potential enterprise value of $1.4 billion, helping Asia's second richest person expand in real estate. The Adani family and MR are discussing the structure of a transaction which could include an unlisted Adani unit infusing about $400 million in equity. An agreement could be reached soon as April, but there is no guarantee of a deal as talks are ongoing. The Directorate General of Trade Remedies, or DGTR, under the Commerce Ministry has recommended a 12% provisional safeguard duty on some steel products to protect the local industry from below-cost imports. A final decision will be taken by the Finance Ministry. In a notification, the DGTR said critical circumstances exist wherein any delay in application for provisional safeguard measures would cause damage which could be difficult to repair. The tax will help Indian steel producers counter any potential trade diversions from countries such as Japan and South Korea, following US President Donald Trump's imposition of 25% import tariffs on steel imports from certain countries. Tata Group companies have become global suppliers to Tesla, preparing for a bigger role if Tesla expands to India. Tesla is reportedly seeking to source components locally while negotiating incentives and tax benefits. Discussions with Indian states aim to strengthen Tesla's local manufacturing base and create opportunities for Indian suppliers. Bain Capital will acquire an 18.6% stake in Manapuram Finance, a leading Indian gold loan company, through a primary infusion and secondary sale. The investment includes a mandatory open offer, potentially increasing Bain's stake to 41.7%. The deal, subject to regulatory approvals, aims to propel the company's growth. Hero MotoCorp announces a strategic investment of Rs 525 crore in electric commercial vehicle maker Euler Motors, gaining a 32.5% stake. This move expands Hero MotoCorp's presence in the rapidly growing electric three-wheeler market and reinforces its commitment to sustainable mobility and diversified growth. IndusInd Bank informed the exchanges on Thursday that its board has decided to appoint an independent professional firm to conduct a comprehensive investigation to identify the root cause of the discrepancies in the bank's derivative portfolio. Additionally, the firm will assess the correctness and impact of the accounting treatment of derivative contracts in accordance with prevailing accounting standards, identify any lapses, and establish accountability. The performance appraisal cycle for financial year 25 is set to bring modest salary increments for IT employees, with an average hike of around 5% for the bulk of the workforce. However, professionals with expertise in high-demand areas such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, and blockchain are expected to receive significantly higher salary increases in the range of 10 to 12%. Chinese electronics companies like Haier, Hisense, Oppo, OnePlus and Vivo are increasing local value addition in India. They are partnering with Indian suppliers and investing in local manufacturing due to new regulations and government pressure. This move is aimed at reducing dependency on Chinese imports and avoiding supply disruptions. Seasonal hiring is set to reach new heights this summer in sectors such as quick commerce, e-commerce, consumer durables, hospitality, and retail. Companies are offering competitive incentives to attract talent in response to high demand and attrition. Over 100,000 temporary and gig roles are anticipated for summer-specific needs. SEBI has collaborated with DigiLocker to reduce unclaimed financial assets by enabling investors to store and access their demat and mutual fund holdings digitally. The initiative's key highlights are access to security holdings, a nomination facility for seamless access, automated notification to nominees, and the role of KYC registration agencies. The Institute of Company Secretaries of India has released FAQs on MCA 21 version 3, detailing the login and registration process. The FAQs explain user types, including registered and business users, and their access rights. They also address common issues and solutions such as handling login errors, DSC registration, and updating user details. SEBI has reduced the minimum application size for subscribing to zero coupon, zero principal instruments issued by non-profit organizations on the social stock exchange from Rs 10,000 to Rs 1,000. This decision is based on recommendations from the Social Stock Exchange Advisory Committee and public feedback on the consultation paper dated March 7, 2025. This aims to enhance retail participation and improve access to social impact investments. The Supreme Court has said that no tax demand, even if raised by the Income Tax Department, can be allowed to be included in a resolution plan after the said plan has been approved by the National Company Law Tribunal under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. With this, the Apex Court also overruled the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal judgment of 2021, which dismissed the appeal by the successful resolution applicant. This decision by the Supreme Court came in a case of insolvency against Tehri Iron and Steel Casting Limited. A resolution plan was approved by the NCLT on May 21st, 2019. This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.